Good afternoon. We are very happy to see you again in the second program in our series, Where the Belief Returns. This program airs every Sunday at 12:45 p.m. on VTV1. We hope you enjoyed last week's installment, Measures for Reducing Risk of HIV Infection Among Injection Drug Users. Our program is designed to offer viewers useful information on HIV/AIDS and to introduce you to the work that is being done to reduce the risk of HIV infection, particularly among injection drug users. This week's show is about an innovative pilot that integrates drug use treatment into HIV prevention, treatment, and care services in Ho Chi Minh City. But first, let's look briefly at news from a festival for HIV-positive children held in Hanoi on June 1st. On June 1st, the Vietnam administration for HIV/AIDS control organized a festival for HIV-positive children entitled The Childhood World, to call attention to the need to reducing stigma and discrimination against children living with HIV. Also supporting the event were the Vietnam Children's Sponsorship Fund, the Fund for Support of People Living with HIV/AIDS, and VTV. The festival kicked off at the Friendship Cultural Palace with activities for all children, HIV positive and otherwise. Other guests including government officials, staff from international organizations, and hundreds of students from Hanoi. This event was designed to send a message nationwide. Let's do what we can to help children living with HIV. They have the right to live, to study, to be included in society, and to receive care and medical treatment, just like everyone else.
Và đặc biệt là sự có mặt của tất cả các em nhỏ, các em thiếu nhi yêu quý đã đến với chương trình ngày hôm nay và chúng ta hãy dành một tràng pháo thật là nồng nhiệt để tiếp tục đến với đạo.
In our first program, we talked about how a large proportion of HIV-positive injection drug users are relatively young. After initial detoxification, there is a very high rate of relapse among this population after discharge from rehabilitation centers. So how can we help those fresh out of rehabilitation to reintegrate into the community, find a stable job, resist craving for drugs, gain life skills, and receive counseling on HIV care and treatment if they are HIV positive? There are many forms of support available to help people returning to the community to reintegrate and start a new life. Let's see what we can learn from this report.
Like many of my friends around the same age as me, I tried heroin and never thought that it was the beginning of a journey leading to my dependency on the drug. In 2002, I found myself at the niem Center, a site for vocational education and job training for injection drug users reintegrating into the community. The center offered voluntary counseling and testing for HIV, which confirmed for me that I was HIV positive. It also offered me and others living with HIV antiretroviral drugs and treatment of other infections. Our health was greatly improved. While I was receiving services, whenever I had any questions, I could ask a peer educator, who was also a resident of the center and who lives with us. 3 months before my discharge, I joined the next phase in the program, for those about to reintegrate into the community. It was then that I met Luan, a counselor who helped me plan the early stages of my return home, when I would be with family and friends again.
Hiện nay thì những người cai nghiện ma túy tại Trung Tâm Xuân hưởng được rất nhiều cái dịch vụ hỗ trợ cho họ.
Clients for detoxification at the Niem Center receive many support services. We have established a peer educator network, including trained recovering drug users who can communicate, advocate, and can refer their friends to supporting services. Those in need of voluntary counseling and testing or antiretroviral therapy will be introduced to managers at the center by a network of peer educators or by a recovering drug user supported network. They will then receive the services they need. Those who test positive for HIV will be referred to the outpatient clinic. One distinctive feature of the Niem Center is its case manager team to support for soon-to-be-released residents. Established with support from FHI has smoothed the way for clients to reintegrate into the community. Before a client returns home, a community-based support group will come to the center and make contact with them to establish a relationship. This way, recovering drug users have assistance from the first day they return home.
Cho nên để khi những người này trở về lại cộng đồng thì đã được đón nhận ngay cái mạng lưới này đón nhận ngay từ ngày đầu tiên mà ta trở lại với cộng đồng.
I was very anxious and worried about reintegrating into the community, so Luan and the staff of the Provincial AIDS Committee's Home Return Support Team talked with me, shared their experience, and provided sincere counseling on how I could prevent relapse and plan for my future. Drug addiction is a chronic relapsing disease that changes the chemical balance in the brain. Once you stop taking drugs, the brain still wants them. And although I have overcome the most difficult period, detoxification, I still feel intense cravings. This is where there is a high potential for relapse. Yet once again, the staff at Niswan Center understood my needs and fears and helped me find the way to cope. They also taught me and other recovering users life skills, relapse prevention skills, and skills to prevent HIV transmission. And yes, that last one, prevention of HIV transmission, is even for those who are already HIV positive, so they don't suffer from other strains of HIV and can maintain their health for a longer life. The center also played a personal or even spiritual role, supporting me to heal relationships with my family and friends and to regain their trust. During long months living in guilt and fear, unable to face my family, I wished for nothing but my mother's sigh with relief and my father's warm touch on my shoulders. I have come back to life since then. Now, in addition to drug abuse treatment, knowledge on drug use, information on HIV, and antiretroviral therapy, recovering users like me receive easy access to information on healthcare services in the community. Although we know that getting tested for HIV is very important for members of such a high-risk group as ours, as with anyone else, we worry of being stigmatized, neglected, and abandoned by our loved ones if we are positive and they find out our status. Naturally then, it takes a lot of courage to get tested. So the staff at Niswan Center encourage us to use voluntary counseling. I made up my mind to do it so that I could protect myself and my family members. Nyat is one of my closest friends. He has returned to his family and has been integrated into the community for a while. It took a long time and tremendous support to refuse invitations from his old friends to use drugs again, and to cope with cravings whenever he saw the old images or places that reminded him of when he was injecting. Day by day, Nyat has regained his parents' trust and that of the neighbors, and they no longer give him disapproving looks. He has even been able to help support his family in hard economic times with the small additional income he provides. His parents smile more now, where once they had little to smile about. Nyat is just one example for me and others in treatment to follow.
Ở đây thấy người ta nè, hoàn cảnh ở đây người ta cũng có con y vậy đó, y như nó cũng do tái hòa nhập cộng đồng về đó. Mà tụi nó cũng ghiền lại.
Here there are many parents whose sons are in the same situation, reintegrating into the community and then relapsing. But my son's done well. I'm proud of him. He's now in a better situation. Some people came to him, "Brother Nyat, help me with this," or "Brother Nat, help me with that." I'm very glad to see him help his friends wholeheartedly. He's helping those who are in the same situation as he was.
Giúp đỡ thì thấy bác thấy nhiều đó là thấy là bác mừng rồi.
Em thì là hiện tại đang là giáo viên thì em cũng có những cái kỹ năng mà em cũng nói cho Thành hiểu.
I am currently a peer educator, so I have skills to make recovering users like Tang, for example, understand. I can share with him experience from our reintegration program. The latest group has just returned home and they need support. Tang often comes to seek support with reintegration to share his difficulties. When sharing experience with others in the reintegration program, I often remind people in the same situation as me that they should break with the past and think about the present. Start a new life now. Think of yourself as a fresh piece of paper on which you will write a new story. I remind myself that is what I have to do first. Only then we can overcome the barriers, stigma from society and family. Then we can write a new page, one by one, this new story. We should do things that make, first of all, family, and secondly, society recognise us. We have to show that we can do it, that we no longer use drugs, so that they will not stigmatise us.
và cái xã hội. Rồi dần dần đó giờ mình sẽ lật từng trang mình viết vào trang đó, mà những trang đó là những trang giấy sạch. Và khi là mình làm sao mà cho cái như thứ nhất là cái gia đình, và cái thứ hai là cái xã hội là nhìn nhận mình, cho mình thấy làm được là mình không còn sử dụng tới ma túy nữa. Điều đó điều tất yếu nhất là để cho người ta không kỳ thị mình.
One of the most difficult things for those just out of a detoxification program is cravings. Not everyone can resist them. Nyat often encouraged me to take advantage of support and counseling groups organized by the Office for Supporting Returned People in District 4.
Now I see that the results here are good and very useful to me. The group shares with me the joys and the sorrows, and the staff help me with problems that I could neither overcome alone nor talk about with my family. The staff give me confidence and help me discuss these issues with my family, and they help me with any problem they can.
Although I made it through detox, cravings still follow me around and return when I'm not expecting them. I still wonder if I have the courage to overcome them. Yet with the help of Hui, a member of the Community Reintegration Support Team, I have the support I need. He went out of his way to talk to me so that I would have enough confidence and courage to prevent relapse. Hui has talked to many HIV-positive users, even people with full-blown AIDS. It's not easy to get them to understand the need to value life due to their fading confidence in the future. They live in torment and regret, suffering physical pain as well as stigma and discrimination. Yet Hui helps some to find hope, starting with very practical activities such as linking them to medical support services, including antiretroviral therapy, treatment of opportunistic infections, and palliative care, while also giving them confidence and encouraging them to continue living. He also educated them and their family members on how to take better care of their health. For me, Hui is not only a good friend, but also an elder brother and a teacher. He encouraged me and shared with me good times and bad when I was craving. He has accompanied me along the hardest part of my life. At times I wanted to give up, particularly when I first returned to my family, who didn't trust me yet, or when I noticed the neighbors still watching me. I felt like I was at the bottom of an abyss, totally lost. Hui showed me my own strength, though, and helped me regain my self-confidence. Thanks to him, I got job training and a small loan from the center. I have truly turned over a new leaf. During my time at the Niswan Center, I have thought a lot and have become more positive about my future. I know that my fight against drugs has not ended, and the need to guard against HIV/AIDS is more important than ever. But I have overcome the most difficult part, and I will be firm and confident because I now have the best weapons, my own determination, encouragement from my family, skills from the center, and shared experience from people like Nyet and Hui. Every day, new clients arrive at the center, and every day others go home. They're all different, but I believe that all of them hope to be in my position someday, living a peaceful and healthy life. I'm deeply indebted to my mentors, the staff, and people such as Nyat and Hui, who have gone through the storm with me. I will try my best to make them proud.
In this report, we will show you how post-detoxification recovery is a long-term process and how people in this stage need continuous counseling, support for acquiring active life skills, and relapse prevention support. They need to participate in peer support groups and establish new social relationships, and in particular, they need the support of their families and the community. The lasting message of this program is, let's start a new life with new beliefs. Let's start from the Community Support Program for Recovering Drug Users. Recovering drug users need to be part of the community again. If you are someone who has just completed detox at a rehabilitation center and are returning home, please visit your local community counseling and support center for assistance. Thank you for watching today. We look forward to seeing you next week when we look at a model for a self-help group for injection drug users post-detoxification in Van Dong, Quang Ninh Province. Goodbye and